Serenity Hospice is a volunteer charity dedicated to empowering families through life-threatening illness with grief and bereavement programs, a resource center, and counseling. Our Circle of Care program offers help to those living with a life-threatening illness to create a team from their family and friends for the support they need to stay in their home. Cheryl believed it was important to share her story of how a community can support a person at home who is facing a terminal illness. Cheryl's care team consented to share their journey of their involvement as an illustration of Circle of Care.
I was there the first night that she was afraid to be alone, and she was very independent, but she also wanted to be able to stay in her own home. That's where she had her memories of Ed, her husband. I really think that it was really great that she could stay there right to the very end with her animals, and she loved them.
We did it for like almost 2 years, and initially it was just once a month or twice a month that she needed something. And then, as Bonnie said, there was one day that she got scared, didn't want to stay home alone anymore, and she just didn't want to live by herself anymore. So we looked at who would be available and went over and got some support for overnight for the first night, and then after that it was 24/7 care. And at one point the doctor at the hospital said that she wouldn't be able to come home without having the care team.
I guess you could say I did some of the little things. I wasn't a huge part of Cheryl's care towards the end. I kind of would help her with little tasks during the day, like emptying the dishwasher, going to get some groceries, or if she had a craving for fast food, I would get her something like that. And just spend some time with her.
Taking her to appointments and doctor's appointments. Afterwards, it was more or less explaining some of the things that the doctors had said and why they were saying certain things to her. And just some company, and we ran errands together and picked up pills together, and groceries, little things like that. So,
communication's essential. It was always nice to have a book to look back on what had happened, maybe the day or the 2 days previous. It was always nice to have that same book to write in, to make comments, to pass on. No, it went really well. And I was glad that we could do it for Cheryl.
I went with Cheryl a lot to her chemo appointments, and I know the nurses at the chemo, when they found out, and Dr. Donahue was the physician in charge of the unit, they wanted to know how this worked, because there were a lot of other patients that would have liked to stay home but didn't have the resources. They only had a few family members, and if you don't have a big group, you burn out. Like, you just can't keep going, and it's really, really hard. So then it's not enjoyable for you. You don't have good memories, and also the patient or the client or whatever. And it needs to be out there more so that people can die at home with dignity and respect.
Yeah, like we ended up having, I think it was like 43 care team members by the end, and we had people that we didn't even need to utilize. So that was surprising. I didn't really see that that was going to be one of the outcomes.
And it was neighbors and friends and a lot of her working staff at CCAC. So that really, really helped. And without that support of one another, we wouldn't have been able to keep her home, and that would have been sad.
And it worked out really well. We were, Facebook, it was texting, it was telephone calls, so we were really, really close, kind of like all sisters together. So as far as improvements were concerned, I wish we'd started earlier, but it wasn't Cheryl's time. She wanted to be on her own, as independent as possible, and she said, I'll go to the hospital if I need to, but I have my friends here. I don't plan on it. So, we made her wishes come true. And I think that made everybody feel good to say Cheryl stayed home. Yeah.
And it's an experience I'll never forget. It was a privilege to work with Cheryl. I feel it's a very, very, very important program, and I would participate again.